Hi everyone, my name is Clara Nartey. I'm an artist and I celebrate Black hair in my work to build confidence in little girls and in adult women. Today, I want to take you on a journey of the evolution of my work. I started creating textile art in 2014. And when I did, I was focused mostly on color. And I did a lot of abstract work. And here's an example of something that I had created in 2014. This piece is called Shadows, and it's won an award for color. And even then, when I had just started, if you look at the detailed image on the right, you would see that I had already started playing with surface pattern design using threads. In 2014, I didn't have a specific focus for my work. I did build a body of work that included abstract work. It had some figurative work. It had some landscapes. I just built a body of work that covered all the different genres. And you can see that in my figurative work, when I started, I didn't have a lot of details in the figures as I do now. When I created the piece on the right called Beauty Looms Ahead, I cried because I didn't believe that I could actually draw myself. The one on the left, I used Photoshop. The one on the right, I drew myself. In 2016, I decided to embark on a self-challenge to figure out how I could use a stitch just as you would use a line. And for me, I challenged myself to make a line work like a stitch in my work. So for one whole year, 52 weeks, every week I created a piece of work focused on using stitches. By the time I got to the 20th to 25th week, I had developed a style of creating work using just thread. So as you can see here, these pieces were created using thread. And the only part of it that is fabric is the little lemon at the bottom, the yellow lemon, but everything else was created using thread. So after developing this style of stitching, my own stitch vocabulary, I went back to recreate this piece, which I had created earlier in colors and in fabrics, and I had donated that to the SAQA benefits. And this time I recreated it using just threads. As much as I love color, I love to do black and white too. And when I was learning to draw, I drew with only pen and ink because I figured that if I could draw with pen, I would be able to stitch without taking out my stitches because pen is so unforgiving that if I learned how to do that, I could stitch without worrying about ripping stitches out. So after that challenge in 2016, I developed this new style where I used a lot of thread in my work. This piece was created in 2018. It's called My Cup Runs Over. And as you can see in the detailed photo, the entire cup and the saucer under the cup was done with threads. There was no fabric in there. The only fabrics in this piece are the swirly shapes that you see, but everything else is all thread. The background, the cup, the plate under the cup is all thread. In 2019, I decided to take this new vocabulary of stitching to create a body of work and to host a solo show. So I hosted a solo show called Drawn with Threads. And the main aim of that show was to show that I can draw with thread. So most of the pieces in that show were done with thread. And this is one piece from the show. Here you can see another piece from the show. This is Beach Buddy. The entire piece is done with thread and is stitched onto a background of hand-dyed fabrics. In 2020, my daughter bought me an Apple Pencil. I had always used my iPad to just sketch and to practice, but I'd never used it to create a piece of work, a final piece of art. I always use it for practice. But in 2020, my daughter bought me an Apple Pencil and it changed my life. I realized that I could draw exactly on the iPad the same way that I draw with my ink and pen on paper. And so as the years had progressed, I was slowly moving away from using fabric to color my work and using stitch to do that. So when I started drawing on the iPad, that was the beginning of the end of my using fabric to color my work. I started creating the fabric patterns myself digitally and drawing the images all by myself and then sending them out to be printed and then stitching on top of that. Here's a piece that I created in 2020. This piece is called Charlena. I created this piece for a sewing justice academy, and this was a social justice piece during the George Floyd murder. And this piece showcases my focus on Black hair and Black hairstyles. Here's another piece that I created. This piece is called Queen Ciceretta. Ciceretta Jones was an opera singer, and in her time, she was really good. She won a lot of medals and awards. The photograph that I saw of her that I used as my reference photo, she had all these medals on her clothes. And I wondered why she had medals on her clothes. And I decided that I wanted to recreate her as an African queen because African queens wear all these gold, not on the clothes, but in their hair. So I recreated Ciceretta Jones as an African queen to honor her. And here is the piece that is included in Intersect Chicago. This piece is called Hats Don't Fit, and it measures 40 inches by 30 inches. And this piece is a piece that came about because I was getting ready for an outing with my daughter, and I was taking so long to get dressed, and she pops her head into the room and she's like, "Mom, what's taking you so long?" And at that time I had my hair all out and I was trying to find a hat to put on. So I said I couldn't find a hat to put on. And she says to me, "Mom, hats don't fit our hair." So that's how this piece was created. That's how it came about. The next piece here is one that I created. Is called Gele, the skyscraper. Gele is a head wrap that Nigerian women wear for special occasions. And I wanted to honor that tradition that they've been able to keep over the centuries. And so this piece is an honoring tribute to the Nigerian women. Finally, getting to the end of this year, I started creating bigger and larger works. This piece is the first large piece that I created. It measures 66 inches by 50. It's called a mandala. A mandala is a word from South Africa, which means power. And it used to be used during the apartheid to rally people for protesting. Here is another large piece that I created. It's called I Am a Child. It's on exhibition right now in Massachusetts. It's about the being Black in an independent school or a private school during the George Floyd murder and social justice awakening. There were a lot of pages on Instagram by high school students talking about their experiences in school, and I created this piece in response to that. And finally, this is another large piece that I have recently created. It measures 65 by 54. This is the only piece that I have created that I use hand stitching. I wanted to be able to show the details in the shoe, the zipper, and the stitching in the shoes. So I use hand stitching to do that. And I want to say thank you to SAQA for making this show possible, Intersect Chicago, for people like me who want to pursue textile art as a professional career. This is really something that I appreciate, that SAQA took the time and the efforts to invest into this show. I want to say thank you. If you want to follow me and learn more about my work, I'm on Instagram. My handle is Clara Nartey. I'm on Facebook, and my handle on Facebook is Clara Nartey Art. Thank you.